Start with Jai Radha Mata. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraj Jana Randana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Nitai Patita Pavan Gaur Hari Jaya Nitai Patita Pavan Gaur Hari Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Harinam Sankirtan ki Srila Prabhupada ki Gaur Premanand Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining us at ISKCON Farmington Hills for the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Very grateful to all of you. Before I speak anything, I would like to take the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas here in the temple, as well as all those watching online. Please give me your blessings. I have no qualification to be sitting here. Actually, I would like to mention a point that His Grace Shyam Kishore Prabhuji mentioned in one of the Bhagavatam classes this week only. He very clearly said that anything that makes an impact in the heart of anybody who is speaking Srimad Bhagavatam or those who are hearing, it is not due to the speaker, but it is due to the potency of the audience who are hearing. So it is actually my fortune that the temple has given the opportunity to speak, and it is due to the potency of all the people who are listening that if there is any point that I am able to make, it is due to your potency. So I'm very grateful to all the assembled Vaishnavas, and at the same time I beg forgiveness for anything that I may speak which can be a concoction or which is not absolutely correct. So please forgive me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Nama. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 20, Shloka number 6. So we will try to recite. Tana Kirtaya Bhadram Te Kirtan Yodara Karmana Rasagya Konu Tripyeta Hari Leelamritam Piban. Tana Kirtaya Bhadram Te Kirtan Yodara Karmana Rasagya Konu Tripyeta Hari Leelamritam Piban. Tana Kirtaya Bhadram Te Kirtan Yodara Karmana Rasagya Konu Tripyeta Hari Leelamritam Piban. Tana Kirtaya Bhadram Te Kirtan Yodara Karmana Rasagya Konu Tripyeta Hari Leelamritam Piban. Tana Kirtaya Bhadram Te Kirtan Yodara Karmana Rasagya Konu Tripyeta Hari Leelamritam Piban. Thank you. Ta, those talks. Na, to us. Kirtaya, narrate. Bhadram Te, may all good come to you. Kirtanya, should be chanted. Udara, liberal. Karmana, activities. Rasakya, A devotee who can appreciate mellow taste. Ka, who, nu, indeed. Tripyeta, would feel satisfied. Hari Leelamritam, the nectar of the pastimes of the Lord. Piban, drinking. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Sutta Goswami, all good fortune to you. Please narrate the activities of the Lord, which are all magnanimous and worth glorifying. What sort of a devotee can be satiated by hearing the nectarian pastimes of the Lord? Purport: the narration of the pastimes of the Lord, which are always enacted on the transcendental platform, should be received with all respect by devotees. Those who are actually on the transcendental platform are never satiated by hearing the continuous narration of the pastimes of the Lord. For example, if any self-realized soul reads from Bhagavad Gita, he will never feel satiated. The narrations of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam may be read thousands and thousands of times, and still, without fail, new aspects of the subject matter will be relished by the devotee. Very bold. Before speaking, let's take the blessings of Guru. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhambitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Kam karoti vachara pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramanandam Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So we are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 20, Shloka number 6. So, sorry. So here, what is happening is Shaunak Rishi and the other sages, they are inquiring from Sutta Goswami about the conversation that happens between Vidurji and Maitreya Rishi. So now it is but natural when devotees come together, they like to talk about Krishna. So the sages are like, there must be a lot of topics about Krishna that would have been discussed, right? So can you please narrate to me? And it's why is it very obvious that when devotees come together, they like to discuss Krishna? Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, everybody knows the shloka, right? Machchita madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katyantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully surrendered to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from enlightening one another and conversing about me. So devotees, when they come together, they like to talk about Krishna instead of talking about any other mundane subject. They like to talk. That gives them pleasure and satisfaction. So the rishis are eager to hear what discussions happen. And actually, this point is very significant, because Srila Prabhupada says that whenever there is discussions about Krishna or Krishna Katha, it is so potent that the person who is speaking and the person who is hearing, both are never satiated. That means they are both never satisfied. Like if we see in case of Parikshit Maharaj had 7 days to hear Bhagavatam. And Parikshit Maharaj did not say, Abhi, after hearing for a few days, I'm done. I'm satisfied. I cannot hear anymore. He wanted more and more. And even Sukdev Goswami, he was ready to give all that he had. In fact, I was hearing from a class, and there the speaker mentioned that sometimes, we have so many things going on in our mind, and we say, just cut it short. You can keep it brief. But it happens that Sukdev Goswami, he tells at one point of time, he tells, okay, there was this serpent, this big serpent, Kalia, he came and he was there, and there was a fight which happened, and Krishna subdued Kalia. So Parikshit Maharaj was so eager. He said, no, stop here. Please tell me more about Kalia. Don't cut the pastime short. Tell me more. Give me all the details. So that was the curiosity, and that was the level of Parikshit Maharaj. He wanted all the details. And hearing this, Sukdev Goswami says, Parikshit, you want to hear everything. Nothing is stale for you. Nothing is... Krishna Katha is giving you newer and newer aspects. And because of you, I am getting more enthusiastic to talk about it. So that is the glory of Krishna Katha. Actually, this is what, any not only Krishna Katha, for that matter, any subject matter related to the Supreme Lord is like that. It is very nourishing. It is very, it gives the heart joy. It is very pleasure giving, right? And that is why, there is a book also that Srila Prabhupada has written, Krishna, the reservoir of all pleasure. Why? Because Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita, there is a shloka which comes, this shloka comes in chapter 3, shloka number 17. Sorry, I don't remember, so I'll just read. Yasto atma ratir eva syat, atma triptascha manava, atmanya eva cha santushtas, tasya karyam na vidyate. The meaning of this shloka is, but for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is for self-realization, whose human life is for self-realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no other duty. What does that mean? Like, what does it mean to take pleasure in the self? This point Srila Prabhupada explains in one of his lectures, and it is a very significant point to understand what it means to take complete pleasure in the self. Like somebody who's reading for the first time. I remember when I read this shloka for the first time, I was like, we talk about soul, we talk about taking pleasure in the Lord, doing activities for the Lord, but here it is mentioned taking pleasure in the self. So I could not understand the shloka. Then when I was hearing one class of Srila Prabhupada, this point was clearly mentioned, what it means to take pleasure in the self. So the point, very important here, is the self is not an individual separate identity. The self is actually in relation with the Supreme Lord. Like if we see, if our body parts, like we say a finger or a hand, Now, a hand or a finger, Jai Jai Shri Radha Gopijan Bhagwan ki Jai, Nitai Patit Pavan Gaur Hari ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So, if we see the hand or the finger is there when it is in connection with the body. Now, if due to some unfortunate circumstances, the hand is cut off and the hand is lying down there. Now, what is the identity of the hand? Will you call it a hand? You will call it a hand, but it is just a hand lying there. Can it perform the functions of a hand? Can it lift anything? Can it do anything? No. So the hand has significance only till the time it is connected to the body. Similarly, the self here has significance only till the time it is in service to the Lord. So when we say Atma Triptas or we say Atma Ratir, like in the shloka, what does Atma Ratir mean? When the heart renders service to the Lord, when it is engaged in devotional service to the Lord, then it means taking pleasure in the self, because you are in connection with the Lord. Like there's another analogy given, like we have grass. The grass is green till the time it is rooted. The minute, if you see the grass starts becoming yellow, if you see carefully, the grass has started to rip off from the roots. So our root is Krishna. Till the time we are with Krishna, we are satisfied. The minute we try to deviate ourselves from Krishna, the satisfaction goes away. So that is the meaning of Atma Ratir or Atma Santushta. We engage ourselves with the Supreme Lord, and then we start taking pleasure in the self. So, and why is it like that? We start taking pleasure in the self. How are we completely satisfied? Like Santushta, right? Santushta means satisfied. Why are we completely satisfied? Because Krishna is Anandamayo Bhyasat. That means Anandamayo Bhyasat means he is completely full of Anand. Like, now the point that is mentioned here is about association. Like supposing so many times we have heard, right? And we also speak, your smile is very infectious, or your enthusiasm is very contagious. What does it mean? Your smile is infectious. That means when you smile, I also feel like smiling. Infection spreads, right? Contagious means something that is spreadable. Your enthusiasm is inspiring. Your enthusiasm is contagious. Your smile is infectious. Because when we are in association with those kind of people, then we also tend to be enthusiastic and inspiring to others. So when we are in association with Krishna, when our root is attached to Krishna, then we also tend to feel the same Anand, because he is the reservoir of pleasure. We also gain lot of pleasure. That is so many times we say, if you want to judge a person, if you want to judge me, ask me who my friends are, because whom we associate with, that is what we become. So we associate with Krishna, then we are with Krishna. Now this point has so many examples, like fire and iron rod. Iron rod and fire are different, but iron rod will not become fire, but by being in constant association, by being in constant touch with fire, iron rod becomes so hot that you cannot touch it. So this is the power of association. So we stay in association with Krishna, then we also get pleasure. And now the point that comes is, how come so the point that comes here is, why are the speaker and the hearer both not satiated? Why is it like that? It is because the commodity of exchange is Krishna. Krishna is being exchanged. Krishna is the reservoir of pleasure. Krishna is being exchanged. So the person who is speaking and the person who is hearing, both are in direct contact with Krishna. Krishna's energy gets manifested. So both the people, that is why, I heard in so many classes, anybody who is speaking on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna and Krishna's name, Krishna's pastimes, Nam, Rupa, Guna, Leela, everything is absolute. There is no difference. Like you say Krishna and his name are different. No. You say Krishna and you say Krishna's name, they are same. You talk about Krishna's pastime, Krishna is there. So, or Nam, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Krishna is absolute. Krishna is present there. So, anybody who is talking on any of the aspects of Krishna consciousness, he is in direct contact with Krishna. That is why so many times, it happens like supposing there is something beautiful or someone beautiful. How much time can you look at it? 1 day, 2 days, maybe if it's too much beautiful, every 7 days you're going to open it and say, it's very beautiful. But at one point of time, you will get bored of it. Now, I don't need to ask how many times, like every year, the whole Damodar month, we hear Damodar Leela. Like every day we will sing Damodar Ashtakam. When we sing, the whole Leela will go in our mind. And so many times we give classes, we go to classes. The whole Kartik month we hear Damodar Leela, right? Does it feel, Arey Bapre, again I have to hear Damodar Leela? No, it is not like that. Every Janmashtami, the birth of Lord Krishna, it's not something new that will come. But still we hear and we look forward to hearing those classes, right? At Damodar month, it is a celebration every evening to sing the Damodar Ashtakam. We look forward to it. The family comes together. There is so much joy. But that does not happen in case of anything material. You will get bored of it. Anything material cannot match the spiritual pleasure that comes from the name or the pastime of Krishna. So that is the glory of Krishna's name. And Krishna gets manifested in the heart. Now, actually, there was another example that was being talked and I felt this was very relevant. Like so many times we think, Acha, abhi Bhagavad Gita is done, Srimad Bhagavatam is done, maybe another few years, Chaitanya Charitamrita will also be done. Then what? We feel, right? Sometimes we feel like that. What next? Now, if you see Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, for one verse, he could speak for months and months and months. Why? Because there is so much knowledge, there is so much bliss, there are so many aspects to Krishna consciousness that can be shared. Why are we not getting, like here I'm talking exactly about myself, honestly. Why am I not getting that much pleasure? Because I'm not on the spiritual platform. I'm reading from the material point of view, so I get tired. I am not getting that joy. But here also, like the shloka that we read, right? Thousands and thousands of times. Thousands and thousands of times we can hear the same pastimes. Thousands and thousands of times we can hear there is so much glorification of the Lord. Rupa Goswami actually says, why have you given me only 2 ears and 2 eyes and 1 tongue? If you would have given me thousands of eyes, thousands of ears and thousands of tongues, then I could have been able to relish. Like Rupa Goswami is saying. So what are we? Nothing. So that is something I found very relevant from the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. There is another very beautiful analogy. But before that, why is it like, why? Because we get so much happiness and satisfaction from hearing Krishna Katha, because the soul is satisfied. Nothing material can give pleasure to the soul. It is only spirituality and it is only the name of the Lord, the Leela of the Lord, the qualities of the Lord that can give satisfaction to the soul. And once the soul is satisfied, we are satisfied. Otherwise, everything is very temporary. You can feel satisfaction. Actually, we don't feel satisfaction. We feel pleasure. And that pleasure is very temporary. It like keeps flickering. But satisfaction is something which is there permanently. It is there for a very long time. That is the difference between pleasure and satisfaction. So another thing that, in context with this shloka, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he mentions a very important point in this. This is chapter, Adi Leela, chapter 2, shloka number 2. So if we read this shloka, I will just try to read it. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Kala Pathojani Brajita Sadbhaktavali Hamsa Chakra Madhupa Shreni Viharaspadam Karnanandi Kala Dhvanir Vahatu Me Jiva Maru Prangane Shri Chaitanya Dayanidhi Tava Lasal Leela Sudha Swaradhumi. So here, oh my merciful Lord Chaitanya, may the nectarian Ganges water of your transcendental activities flow on the surface of my desert-like tongue. Beautifying these waters are the lotus flowers of singing, dancing, and loud chanting of Krishna's holy name, which are the pleasure abodes of unalloyed devotees. These devotees are compared to swans, ducks, and bees. The rivers flowing produces a melodious sound that gladdens their ears. So here the analogy, this is a very beautiful analogy that is being made, and what it talks about is the tongue. What it says, the tongue is considered to be very parched and dry when it is talking about the mundane pleasures of the material world, and when it is compared to a desert. So when there is a desert, what the desert looks forward to? It looks forward to a rain shower. And that rain shower is compared to Krishna Katha. When Krishna Katha is there, the rain is there, it gives joy to the heart. Like how much, not so much here in US, but in India, after a hot summer, everybody looks forward to the monsoon season. Rain will come. Like I have seen in my own life, by the end of June, we would all look forward to, aaj barish hogi na, hogi. Abhi garmi kam hogi. It will rain. Why we look forward to the rain? Because there is so much heat. Everybody wants the rain to make it cool. Similarly, our heart is so dry. It is so hot with all the material pleasures, which are anyways temporary and dream-like, illusory. They will go away. When Krishna Katha pours down, then it feels cooling, it feels happiness, like peacocks, right? Peacocks look at the clouds and they become very happy. So people who are, I'll give an example. It is very gross, so please forgive me. Like material sense gratification, how it is like. Children, small children, when they don't know how to blow their nose, forgive me, it's a very gross example. When they have cold, they don't know how to blow their nose, right? So every time they feel so congested. Even for us, we feel congested, but we can go and blow our nose and we'll feel we can breathe properly, right? So sense gratification is like that. Children cannot blow their nose, but if they don't blow their nose, they are miserable, right? So sense gratification, it is there, it gives misery, but if you don't remove it, that also gives misery. And you are unable to remove it, then also it gives misery. So much misery. Why? Because sense gratification is like that. It's ultimately going to give you misery only. One day happiness seeming like happiness, right? But it's going, at the end, the thing that can give us happiness is Shastra, Krishna's name. Krishna's name is Amritam, right? We don't understand it. It's like chanting should be blissful. Why are we not? I'm talking about myself again. Why am I not blissful? Because I'm not on the spiritual platform. But that does not mean, like it is like a cycle, I'm not blissful in chanting of the holy name, but the bliss will come when I chant the holy name. Similarly, I'm not happy hearing Krishna Katha constantly, but when I hear Krishna Katha, then only I will become happy. So it is a cycle. It has to keep on going. Nothing can give us happiness other than constant hearing, constant chanting. So that was one point which I thought, very valid. So what is the time? It's already 8:59. Actually, another point that was very important was the Vedic scriptures. The Vedic scriptures, sometimes we see, people, even for me, for all the, no offense to anybody, but sometimes people will recite only the verses of Bhagavatam. They will not elaborate on the meaning. But still, the Vedic literatures are so sublime and so pure that even by reciting the verses, that whole atmosphere is lit up. Why? Because they carry the potency of the Lord. Vedic literatures are just the body of the Lord, the tongue of the Lord, right? So when we hear the Vedic scriptures, just the shlokas also, maybe without the meaning, then also it brings auspiciousness. That is why so many times, we have heard our seniors, they say there should be constant recitation. And in this shloka, if we see this Swaradhuni, the Swaradhuni means Ganga. Ganga, whenever there are lotuses or lilies, lotus or lilies, they will grow only in water. Water has to be there, right? Same way, this water is compared to the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or the lotus feet of Krishna. When Krishna is present there, then only the lilies will manifest. And the lotus and the lilies have so much sweetness, so much fragrance, right? That fragrance is like Krishna's internal nature. Krishna is so sweet. Lotuses are so sweet, tender, right? Similarly, Krishna's inherent property is beautiful, tender, sweet. Whenever we hear, we feel that sweetness within us. And here we talk about swans and different kind of birds. Those birds are compared to the devotees. Devotees are like how devotees, they like to congregate, they like to stay together. I was just thinking and meditating on this point. Before coming to Krishna consciousness, maybe I used to like going out with different people, talking to different people. But after coming to bhakti, it is like, I want to go to the temple where I will meet devotees. That gives satisfaction. So devotees like to stay together. Why do they like to stay together? Because there is Krishna Katha being taught, right? So, and these devotees like to stay in congregation. They don't like to go away and become, Guru Maharaj says, they don't like to become self-manifested Prabhus and Matajis. Our movement is Das Anudas. We don't want to become boss and boss, right? Guru Maharaj so many times says, we just have to repeat what is written. We don't have to become the boss and create something. So that is in this shloka that is being mentioned. And also the importance and the significance of Shastras. In fact, in Burma, I heard in one of the lectures, there is a temple where the deity is nothing but Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is worshipped as the deity. So just imagine the potency. We offer Aarti to Srimad Bhagavatam. So these literatures, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have been given these literatures. All we have to do is read, and a day will come, when we will not be satiated. That is my hope and prayer, that my Lord, in this lifetime, please give me a day when I will not be satiated by taking Krishna's name, by reading the scriptures, by associating with the devotees. That is my only prayer. And I hope, by the mercy of all the devotees and Guru Parampara, one day will come in my life where I'll be able to do that. So I think the time is now 9:03. And I would like to end here. Please forgive me for all the mistakes and offenses that I made today. And all in the previous days. Thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Anybody has any corrections or comments? I am not qualified to answer questions, but corrections, please consider me as your humble servant and please give your corrections and comments. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you so much for your time. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Mataji, thank you so much for your invitation and support. Can we close this?
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you
Dandavat
so
Pranam.
much.